Hi guys, this is Goddess Starla Vamp, back for another segment of Ask a Dominatrix, where I answer your questions about kink, fetish, and BDSM. Hope you are well. We are approaching summer, and the kinkiness is blossoming, and fresh air, fresh ideas, new world, new hope, new faith, new shoes. Okay, so let's get to your first questions. So I was sent this email. Found your YouTube channel. Dear Goddess, I am glad you are doing okay. When you stopped making content, I had wondered if you were okay, so it is good to see you are doing better. I get a lot of messages like this, like, you went away. Are you okay? Like, people take breaks from making content. Like, it's really healthy. So it's nice of you guys to ask, but it's like, I just keep getting a lot of comments like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Okay. Yeah, I'm okay. Thanks. Like, I'm okay enough to type at a computer. It's sweet of you guys to ask, but if you're not like a content creator, it's fucking exhausting. So sometimes you just want to like sit on the couch and eat carbs and like wear your pajamas. So I digress. I want to say thank you, as I have been in the lifestyle for about 20 years. It was more of a fantasy until 2014, 2015, when I met a woman that sought a LTRFLR. She had seen some of your videos, and the next 5 years were an interesting time. I had always enjoyed pegging, and since in my area the churchgoers, which I am still somewhat, are very uptight about sex still, so trying to date and enjoy kink was a no-go. So I found a pro-dom to fulfill those needs and agree that they serve a useful position in the lifestyle, as do those that produce fantasy videos. Society still has too many taboos to be open-minded about the desires. Anyway, the relationship was great until it was not. I was just waiting for her to tell me I could propose, and I thought we would have the happily ever after. It did not come, and it took me a few years to get over it. And your videos recently helped more than anything to jump that final hurdle. I can tell it is hard for you to talk about that part of your life, and I wish you the best in mending the issues, as they are not easy. You're a beautiful woman, and there is no need to compare yourself to the newer mistresses, as they are that mistresses. You have been and will always be a goddess. That's really sweet. I'm blushing. Thank you. You have the skills and knowledge that come with time, and like they say, a great bottle of wine only gets better with time. I can say that you are not a fan of technology, and while I have embraced it to stay ahead of things, to be competitive in my industry, I miss the days of being able to disconnect from the world. My question is one you have touched on, as you talked about using a pro, but I cannot break the stigma that this is cheating. As I search for a life partner, I try to use FetLife so that I am upfront about kink, but most are looking for a financial slave. And when you try to approach it in the vanilla sites, most times they are seeking a dominant and run from you when you get into kinks. I started my journey as a dom, but after a spectacular failure with a sub, I lost confidence, so I explored the submissive side. I find it a better fit. My particular kink is anal play, especially pegging and oral worship. However, my last relationship, she enjoyed having me in panties and wearing matching ones when we go out. So that this is now in the mix. Many women have issues with this, especially when they see me as a 6'6" big guy. He's a big guy. That remind them of a logger. So those outside the kink realm have real issues with the kinks. How would you suggest breaking the ice? Lately, I get to know them and go on a date or two and bring up the issue when the talk about sex comes up. Thank you, Goddess. P.S. This channel helped me in so many ways to start moving past the last relationship. This is a really thoughtful email, and this is like part of the reason I wanted to come back and break a lot of the fantasy with the YouTube channel. And I wish I had an easy answer, and I've thought about these questions, and I am going to repeat myself and say that there are a lot of benefits to seeing a professional. I can understand that you could consider that cheating. I myself, I don't consider it cheating, just coming from a culture where for your bachelor party, you're supposed to get a stripper. Maybe you sleep with her, but I've seen enough bachelor parties at strip clubs to just be like, okay, I don't get anything. I don't understand the world. Like, you're all drunk. You're with your, like, future brother-in-law and your future father-in-law, and they're watching you get grinded by a stripper, like, on a stage. And that's not cheating. It's, like, celebrated to have women rub themselves all over your crotch. Like, and a lot of people don't consider going to the strip club cheating. There's no full sex. It's a little bit of a dance, and I wouldn't be so hard on yourself. It sounds like you're in a situation where you have religious pressure, and at the end of it, we have desires and we want them to be fulfilled. Otherwise, we can get depressed. So something's got to give, I would say. I wouldn't get hung up on the cheating aspect. I think our society wants to simplify and think, well, there's one person who I want to be with for the rest of my life that's going to check all the boxes. And I've just been having a lot of conversations with people, with my friends, and in these trying times, we're all arguing. We can't come into agreements. We're becoming politically polarized, and we just don't match. But I had a really good conversation, and my conclusion was, it's just someone is not going to check all the boxes, and that's okay. And you can stay friends with people and agree to disagree, but I know I have a lot of boxes. So if I have a high expectation that someone's going to fulfill all that, I'm the one who's going to be disappointed. And you can only work within reality. And if you don't work in reality, it doesn't even matter, because reality is going to win. Reality wins, science wins in the end. Science is really cruel, and it's not forgiving. So I just don't think people are really that compatible. It's fucking weird, I have to say. For fleeting moments, yes, and arrangements, yes. You can have brief experiences, longer experiences, but I would say, like, with your past relationships, to just be in the moment, take what you can from it, walk away. There can be, like, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of trauma coming out of different relationships, and you just have to heal. And healing doesn't happen swiftly. It's a really gradual thing, and we just repair ourselves and we adapt. But I can understand like losing confidence in relationships. It's when you like heavily invest in something and it just completely falls apart. And that's okay. And you can have relationships that are just like just socially really devastating or really like humiliating and embarrassing. I'm going to use an example of a friend of mine, like, and he's not into kink at all, but like his wife was cheating on him during the pandemic, and you know, they got divorced, and the person who was cheating ended up moving in with her, and it was just like completely embarrassing for him. Like, I mean, this is just one of the outcomes. This is just, and when I say embarrassing, it's just like, it shouldn't even be embarrassing. It wasn't his fault. He wasn't the one lying. He did all the right things. And it was a real, like, I don't know, like a 15-year marriage. He did all the right things for years. And then it happened like that. So, I mean, there's no guarantees. And I would just say when it comes to relationships, like, why do we want to have the fantasy? We want to have the fantasy because we want that motivation. We want that romance. We don't want to feel dread. You know? Because, like, I know, like, during the pandemic, like, you wake up with a sense of dread or doom. And it's like, does it have to be? Like, can I believe, like, something, like, fanciful? Is it the right time to believe in fanciful things? And, like, emotionally, you go through the work of just accepting things that you just have no control over and have to accept. And there's just no control. There's no control. So just with whatever the reality is, like, it's humbling, but to just take it. And as far as like your kinks, trying to break the ice, yeah, I feel that. Like, do you go on a regular website and try to like convert vanilla people, or do you hop right on FetLife and like keep digging and digging until you find a good match? I would say, like, just do a number of things and don't get discouraged, but I really want to stress, like, getting out there in the real world and meeting people in real life. Like, I don't know if you can go to like a swingers club or something, but something that's, or like speed dating in person, because we can see each other in person now. So like, take advantage, because all of us have been sitting behind a screen for way too long. So just get out there and don't be discouraged. And it sounds like you have a lot of pressure from your church or guilt from your church, but it doesn't sound like it's really holding you back. It sounds like, you know, you're getting static from people there about your lifestyle. But if you're gonna keep going to church, like, you're not entitled to like reveal all your secrets. You're entitled to a private life. Like, it sounds like maybe you need to come to terms with the guilt in your religion, and you can take a break from church too. I promise, like, God's still gonna love you. Like, he'll forgive you. Yeah. I grew up a Protestant, like, deep down somewhere, if you look really hard, you can tell like Jesus loves me. It's in there. It's way in the back. But yeah, I get it. And I don't know, in my personal opinion, you're not going to hell. Like, as long as you're not hurting anyone without consent, you do you, you know? And just don't get frustrated and don't take things personally, and like, just don't lose confidence. Things just unravel in really mysterious ways. Yeah, just go to a cool bar and like have it go sit and like try to meet somebody in person, and you know, you never know where you're gonna meet friends. Okay, so I have another question. Do you prefer a proud slave who suffers for you, or a sissy type? Um, and I'm not gonna say like, oh, I have a type. I don't like, overall, with everything, I am so much a woman who does not have a type. My friends are like, get a type. I don't have a type. I'm bisexual. I like can't make up my mind. I like so many different kinds of people. It's such a spectrum. I like, you know, somewhat macho, heavily tattooed men with beards. I like sissy, effeminate slaves. I like women, all types. Like, I just do not. A corporate guy in a suit with swagger. Like, I don't have a type. So that goes with slaves too. Everyone has their own style, and I think people can agree when someone can carry themselves and hold themselves and have manners and dignity and grace within themselves, and they know how to be social and how to communicate their fetishes and kinks and desires. It's just really attractive. I like meeting people. They know what they're bringing to the table. It's such a contradiction to be like independent in your own fetish, but that's how I would word it. It's like, when someone actually has autonomy with what they're doing, and yeah, it's not necessarily like suffering pain wise, but there is something to meeting and seeing the masochist who they're really taking an amount of pain, and they're internalizing and working things out, and you see like this shift and their anxieties being alleviated, and that's attractive, but that's a timely thing, you know. Someone's not always gonna want to be enduring that same kind of amount of pain. So I mean, yeah, I think it's about style. I think a lot of people could agree that it's like when someone holds themselves and works on themselves, it really shows. So definitely I don't have a type. What type of piercings do you like to see on men? I have to admit, yeah, I like seeing some genital piercings. The Prince Albert's my favorite. Um, I married a Prince Albert piercing. um, but it's a really heavy thing to get. It's a commitment. I recently had a lunch with someone who has a Prince Albert piercing, and they were talking about it, and just, you have to give yourself the healing time, because it takes weeks for it to really heal properly, and you have to take care of your piercings. But I've never met someone who like has like the barbells on their shaft. I guess it's supposed to be like ribbed for her pleasure, but I don't know. It just seems like a piercing that might be hard to heal. I would say that's like lower on my preference list, but you do you, if that's what you want. But I also like I like rings, like on men and women. I think just a little bit of bling, it's really cute. I ended up getting a vertical hood piercing, and I had to take it out because it was overstimulating. I already knew I had a sensitive clit, but I really underestimated what genital piercings can do. So I myself, like, I wish I could have that piercing, just since we're on the topic of genital piercings. But it's not in the cards for me. I think it looks really nice. I've come to accept that I probably won't ever have genital piercings, just because of the playing I do. Like, I know people have the best intentions, but I would just worry about something like getting caught in like lace in my underwear or something. Like, it's a high risk area. You don't, and like, maybe for men you aren't wearing lacy panties as much, so it's more of a free for all with your genital piercings. But yeah, it's just not on my to-do list to have a genital piercing stuck in lace. Like, it just seems like, oh, the kind of thing that I would just be so miserable that I brought that on myself. But anyway, never say never. Who knows what's gonna happen, really. But I don't know. I'm really curious about genital piercings lately, and I've been getting people asking about the Prince Albert. Like, it's interesting. So I know a lot of men in chastity, like, they like to have the Prince Albert coming through the hole. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just it's one of those things, like, it's I feel like the Prince Albert's like very 90s, and all this stuff is coming back. It's retro. It was always cool, but maybe now it's cooler. I don't even know. I can't keep up with this shit anymore. I don't even know. So this is a tricky question. Do you feel that a bottom is the equivalent of a submissive? And I get it, and in a sense, maybe, but ultimately, no. It's tricky, though. Well, with these, it's labels. Because, like, relationships outside of kink, it's a top and a bottom. And people seem to take to these labels, and I've never had one, so I'm not even gonna touch it. It's like, if someone identifies as a bottom, identifies as a top in their like relationship or their personal relationship, that's like a dynamic I don't even know that much about. As a pro dom, I've had people, I think somebody, I don't know if they said, well, you're a service top, and I was like, no, I'm not. Am I a service top? And I just really like this accusation of like being a service top. It's so loaded, and it's just one of those things where people get into little hissy arguments about this stuff. So, I'm not even going to touch that because I've never personally like identified as either. I don't identify myself as a service top or a service bottom. You know, sometimes your mind goes there. It's like, or because I was a professional submissive for a while, professional switch, I was like, is this being a service bottom? Am I? And no, I don't identify with that. Here I am like twisting this. It's about me. I'm not a service top. But all I know is my own experience with things. But I would say like, if you want to get into it, a submissive is like you're psychologically putting your brain on a platter and giving it to the dominant and being like, torture me, whip me, I am yours, I am a mere puppet. So I'm just gonna say no. They're not. This is a philosophical question, and you can go back and forth and compare and debate why they would be the same, but I'm just gonna say no. Okay, next question. Good afternoon, goddess. I saw that you are inviting questions to your next Q&A. Please reject this one if you find it to be too off topic or intrusive. I'm curious as to why you chose to state your age in your profile. Not that I think for a moment you would have any reason to conceal it. I am 68 and fully capable of recognizing, appreciating, and being aroused by a talented, accomplished, and sexy woman. Your most recent post serves as an ironclad exhibit for that. As we say here in New York, if that's a crime, shoot me. I like this message. Yeah, I think like after doing BDSM professionally for over a decade, I just feel I feel a sense of wanting to be transparent and just like go into detail about myself personally. Otherwise, there's little nuances of the content I make, my story. The little things, I don't want it to fall between the cracks. I want my media to resonate with people, so I might as well be honest, for the sake of that, translating and just to share whatever truth I can. And I feel like that's my age, because being in this industry for so long, women are always, not that it's whatever choice people want to have about revealing their age or not, but like I don't think aging is anything to be ashamed of. I don't believe in that. I don't believe that we devalue with time. I think that's like that's a dangerous mentality. So I want to hold on to my experience, and yeah, I'm 41, and I think like going into my 40s, like I started having a lot of questions like, how do you age doing this? Like, what do I do now? It was really fast and fun when I was in my 20s, when I was in my 30s, like things were rolling. Like I came into like these industries with success, like a certain amount of success, and getting older, well, how do I age with this? Who do I want to be? What do I want to share with everything? And how do I communicate that? So I feel like getting older. I don't have a choice, but I feel like it. Like, I want to aggressively have wrinkles and shove it in people's face. Like, if there's a camera, I'm gonna document it. I really like wrinkles. I'm not afraid to go on this journey of changing and getting older and realizing how fragile life is and how fragile our bodies are. And I'm just going to hold on for the ride. Gross feet. So someone asked, who are some of your favorite doms? So it's kind of a tricky question because there are some women that they don't do it anymore. They want to have private lives. So I'm not going to give out their names and, keep them discreet. Yeah, and I know women who they've really changed direction in their life. They've gone into motherhood, or they met the guy that they want to settle down with, that sort of thing. So that's something I want to have respect for. It's some people, they come in and out of doing this, and like I've met so many amazing women who inspired me. I worked at an in-call place. It was only for a year, but there was like a revolving door of really amazing people coming in and out, and I've met so many different kinds of people doing this. But for name dropping, names that I could drop, we want to talk about what a fangirl I am. Yeah, it would be Princess Donna. Like, she is so fucking cool. And really focused and good at producing too. So like that's something that when I started making BDSM videos online, like let's be honest, the kink women were a huge inspiration, and also the women at wasteland.com, of course, so just and a lot of those women are switches too, so that's something that's really attractive for me, is like when someone's pendulum swings and they're interested in both sides of that dynamic. And but yeah, like I would study kink, kink.com. Yeah, Princess Donna and Laura Lee, who has like a lot of videos as a sub, but who switches and is a dom too. Like she's a huge inspiration. She makes, but everything she does is art. Like she'll go to these psychological depths, and she is just amazing with emoting how strong she is in her media, and like still the media that she makes, she is just such a strong figure. Like it gives me chills to think about. So yeah, like those two women are the pedestals at the top. And yeah, like I would study like Ashley Fires, Aiden Starr, Mistress Madeline, also Madison Young as a switch. Her suspension bondage is just so fucking poetic and beautiful, and like to see her sub and then to see her as a dom. It's just a beautiful, like, I just find it such moving poetry. So to be such a fangirl about kink, but it's true. It's true. And but to go back to rave about Princess Donna and Laura Lily, like, and the fact that they, you know, they model for insects, and it's just, I feel like when I came into the cyber world of BDSM, like, in comparison to the history of like that internet world, I came in at like more of a safe, comfortable place because it had been more commercialized and more discovered. So people knew the different formulas. They knew how to translate the codes better of every, like, ethical codes. People were just like really paying attention to safety on set. Whereas like the beginning of all of this, it was just still really experimental and, yeah, I'm gonna say like scary. Like just fucking scary. Like when I look at the beginning, the dawn of BDSM on the internet, it's like, I'm glad I came in later in the game. Like, it drives me crazy how commercial it can be, but I'm also blessed that it's so commercial. So like the very dawn of that kind of BDSM capitalism, I'm glad I wasn't there. Like, but I find there's something sacred about the women that endured and experienced that, and I just I'm in awe of that. It's really scary as a woman to put yourself out there in porn, in BDSM porn, because it's like, because the way that society views it and translates it, it's like it's not an invitation, but it can seem like an invitation. But it's art, and it's really powerful. It's really powerful stuff. So yeah, I came into everything at a time when the ball was rolling with the commercial side of things, and I was able to study, you know, and I was able to watch enough free content to pay attention, and that's how that came about. I've had a lot of women touch my life, whether they knew it or not, or they shared their husbands or partners with me and let me in on their little world or their little lifestyle. And all those experiences, it meant a lot to me. I've had like, I want more experiences, but I don't know. I feel really lucky that I've gotten to meet so many fucking cool people. So, I have a question. How far has a subby come to visit you? Or how far have you traveled to partake in a BDSM situation? I visit my mistress 300 miles overseas. Um, I don't go that far to partake in adventures. Maybe that's gonna change, but yeah, I'm in Canada, and sometimes I go to Florida. That's like, you know, I don't go very far. Um, and for people to see me, I've had someone come from London, from Poland. some of it is, someone will come from somewhere on a business trip, and maybe he doesn't mention to me like how far he's traveled, kind of thing. But yeah, I had someone arrange to see me from Poland. I guess that's the furthest. How often do you get recognized in public, and are there any episodes worth mentioning when someone has noticed you? um I don't get recognized as often, I guess. mm, the direction that I've gone in my life, like the last 5 years, like I haven't really been in a position where I would get recognized as much, and being in lockdown, like I'm not I've been going out. But there was a while where it would be kind of often, but I was like also on dating websites, or like if I'm on Fat Life, people will recognize me for sure. But in public, some once in a blue moon. I had one guy, it was the summer, and he was on a bike, and he was biking past me, and then he stopped and turned around. He's like, "You, I recognize you." And he's like, "Do you wanna go walk?" I'm like, "No." Like, I'm walking down the street. So sometimes it can get creepy, but being in fetish videos or not, like shit gets creepy sometimes. Like, I've had worse situations where like some guy was just trying to sell me bikinis out of his car, and just be really creepy. Or, I had like a white van follow me once or whatever. So I mean, yeah, you got to stay on your toes in this life. Um, but yeah, I've had people recognize me, well, from the scene, I guess. And sometimes people kiss my hand or whatever, and like I didn't feel a sense of danger. I like to consider myself fairly intuitive, with like street smarts. But nothing really bad has happened to me that way, knock on wood. So um it's kind of bewildering to get recognized, and it does happen where it's sort of like I'll just be walking down the street, and something will, like, it's not like it shatters my world, but it really breaks the fourth wall to me, because like I don't have a sense of exposure. Or I've had people say to me, "You don't know you're famous." And I'm like, "I'm famous. Like, I'm almost famous. I'm not really famous." And then people say, "You're sort of famous, but not really famous." Yeah, okay, I don't know what to do with that. But when I'm walking down the street and someone recognizes me, it shatters my normal world for sure. And I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I had a friend who had also reached a certain amount of like celebrity, or where people would recognize her, and she was freaked out by it. She didn't like it, and unfortunately, like, it didn't evolve into a career. Like, she just wanted to get out of that celebrity. So it's like definitely something that you have to like surprises. Because you can plan for your day to be one way, and then it ends up somewhere else, and you gotta like make do with how these things turn out. So control the chaos. Yeah, right. What's your favorite genre of music to get yourself in the dominating headspace? So I feel like I want to sound cooler than I am. And that, industrial music, I was thinking about this question. I'm like, the theme song would be Discipline by Nine Inch Nails. Like, come on. It's sort of, it's a given. Like, I need your discipline. I need your help. You know, but I had a session, yeah, where I was playing classical music. I was in a mood, and I had a session. It's somebody I've known for over a decade, and I digress. I'm gonna go on a tangent here, but it's interesting. I like to fancy myself that it's interesting. Um, so I saw him 2010. He had a foot fetish, just sort of like a submissive guy, but like kind of macho appearing, like very put together, like worked out, the quintessential kind of like guy, metrosexual guy package. And yeah, he had a foot fetish, like just submissive. And then down the road, like I saw him years later and just really into feminization. Like he'd been researching, being a submissive online and came up just with like all these different ideas. And into chastity, like above and beyond anything we had done in the session. And he comes back, he wants chastity. um and then one day he's like, let's try ignore fetish. And I'm like, and then sent me some links for ignore fetish. I'm like, fucking cool. Like, I love it when people bring something, like bring their own ideas and brainstorm things and then show me their inspiration. So I'm like, ignore fetish. So he comes over, I'm like reading a book, I put on my classical music and I go about the house, and he's just like following me and masturbating on his like hands and knees, and I'm just like walking around pretending like he's not there, up over here in my pretend land. um it was really fun. It was really, really fun. It's fun to pretend. It's fun to pretend like I don't give a shit when I actually do. Somehow I get there. It's a zone. um but yeah, when I used to do duos, a lot of duos, this was like way back. This was 2010 when I was at the Ingle place. There was a lot of just radio, techno, pop music. Um, like going to a dance club, and like it would be the other mistress, her playlist or whatever, her radio station. Um, just anything with a beat. Like I can listen to so many different genres of music. If I were to choose, I might choose the classical music. Maybe opera. I've never like had a session to opera before, so but mm, but mostly I don't I don't play any music at all. I just don't want the music to like dictate the mood. I'd like it to be this raw study. Mm, maybe things will change at some point, but I like the silence. There's so much information, and just like hearing the other person, like their breathing. um there's just the subtleties, um the really small details. And yeah, I guess having quiet helps me concentrate too. Anyway, hello, goddess. I hope you have been well. I saw you were soliciting questions, so I thought about it for a second and was just hoping you might talk more about your authenticity. I think it separates you from the vast majority of dominatrixes and is definitely one of the most fascinating aspects of following you over the years. Kind regards. There's a few different ways that I could answer this, and um, like I'd mentioned before, to be completely honest, like I had a Protestant upbringing, and when I was young, like I was really religious. I was really afraid of hell. Um, I really like thought God was God was watching me all the time. Like there was this judgment and this like track record of like every single thing I did. And it's funny because it just doesn't, these mentalities or ideas, they just don't go away. They don't go away. Like I went to a strip club the other week, and I thought, this is my church. Like I go, it is. I go there with a sense of wanting to be embraced and accepted by something, and to appreciate life and beauty, and to sit there and spectate and be part of like a congregation. Like, and the stripper's the priest, and I get baptized by having a contact dance. I don't know, I feel like the strip club, it's kind of a phenomenon, and I'm not like, I mean that sincerely. Like this is something I've had to try to come to terms with over the years, because like my friends ask me, do you see a therapist? Like how do you deal with all the pressure of being a dominant? It always comes back to, I go to the strippers. I get baptized by strippers. Um or I'll get a like a I digress, but I'll get a tarot card reading as a form of therapy. So this, I guess, like coming from being raised as Protestant, and then sort of having that evolve into sort of like this new agey lifestyle that I have, where I just try to embrace open-mindedness, or I'm gonna say phenomenon. That's like the only way that I can describe it. Um, but yeah, like it's weird because when okay, I'm being so honest. I'm gonna have to see a tarot card reader after this YouTube segment. But when I get dressed up for a shoot, like I kind of feel like I'm putting on my Sunday best for church. And I'm doing up my hair, and I'm doing it for for the sake of a community. And if I look done up, just like deal with the stress of everything, as long as I can present myself and put on my Sunday best and show up on time, and hit all the marks, then it's like Jesus will love me. And he does. And he does. So yeah, there's my authenticity, like it comes from the rebellion of religion, or because like religion in a way, it can be additive. It's like there's so many things about religion that I like, but I take away the things like, oh, I'm gonna subtract the going to hell part of it. Like I don't really need that. I don't feel like being afraid of hell. Like it's not working out for me. Like I want something more positive and more of a celebration. So I'm gonna add I'm gonna add the strap on. I'm gonna add the boots. But there's a lot of like that behavior and formulas there. And I guess like I grew up with grunge, so it was always music videos. The rock star was a huge part of capitalism. It's not the same anymore. It's you have all these other social media platforms, and there's no superpower like a rock star. It's like we have these beloved singers, but like growing up with grunge, it was just such a commercial thing, and it was such a wave. And that was something that I wanted to be part of. And walking through the halls, maybe I would get beat up for wearing a flannel shirt and a Soundgarden t-shirt and army boots, but I was willing to do that because I loved the music. So I think the authenticity just comes from knowing who I was growing up and the detours that I took with everything, but all just also embracing my past, because there's no point in being ashamed or embarrassed about how things, can turn out outside of your control and just given to chance. So if I can help people have confidence in their own realities, like that's everything to me. Like I want people to feel like a rock star walking down the hallway, you know? I just wouldn't wish anyone to get like thrown in a locker. There's you never know the outcome of these things, but I want people to feel like rock stars in their own story. I hope it worked. I hope. I mean, our social media is like so toxic and manipulative. And like, I'm so sorry that this turned out this way. That it's been so manipulative. I feel like people used to be able to be themselves in a certain kind of privacy and dignity. There's nothing dignified about this neoliberalism, this capitalism on steroids. There's nothing dignified about it. It's not my fault, but I want to say I'm so sorry. I don't know. I hope our platforms work out for us. You know. So someone has wrote to me. For me, growing up before the internet became universal, access to BDSM content was much more difficult. I had an AOL chat girlfriend that would send me actual developed photos in the mail. Today, there is on-demand content available all the time for all tastes. Where do you see the next innovation coming from? Or maybe people miss the days of non-video chat, starting with ASL. Yeah, this is something like, what's this? I don't know that. Like, there's just so much. There's so much out there. It I, I don't know how to make sense out of how fast the world has gotten. It's never enough, you know what I mean? Yeah, this sounds like a contradiction. Like, oh, I found the answer to how to deal with technology on TikTok, but I came across this profile of this woman who was making content about slow living. And I thought, okay, yeah, this is so nice. Like, and you have to use the platform as a vehicle to communicate, but just slow living, just embracing the now, taking time. Because I just find, like, with all my social media platforms and making content, like, I have to take care of my physical body, my physical world. I try to make sure that I see my friends in the real world and have conversations with them, like at a cafe, or, you know, see them just sitting there in person. Like, because it's really fragmented. Where do I see the innovation? Well, things in society, um, society always wants to push back. So we just wait for the pushback. We wait for the people who don't want to be on TikTok anymore, who want to go out and walk around and live their life and actually turn their phone off. I'm going to complain about this. Like, this is the first year that I've ever seen people, when the sun goes down and it's dark, people will walk and look at their cell phone. And it's like, it's bright and it's hard to see enough in the dark and walk. But people will be like walking, looking at their screen in the dark. What? I'm not doing that. So I'm waiting for the pushback when people will walk in the dark without their cell phone. They can turn off their phone. I'm waiting for the pushback. I hope something really innovative and awesome happens, like, in the real world. There's like some kind of a new wave of cyberpunks. I just hope the new cyberpunks, they have good heads on their shoulders, and and that, like, this global culture that's kind of like forming through the internet. We need like a golden era, you know. Isn't that just the thing to say? Where's the golden era? I'm just gonna wait for it. So guys, I hope you liked my psychological musings. I will be back again. Thank you. Subscribe to my channel, like this video. I click the boxes what a YouTuber creative person's supposed to say, right? Like, subscribe. And I will be back, and send me more questions, and go out there and enjoy yourselves.